Celine, don't forget your glasses.
Mom called out to me as I walked across the lawn to my new college dorm room. I wish she'd just go home already. I loved my mom, but she reminded me of a life I wanted to leave behind. Throughout high school, everyone said I was a nerd.
It's okay to be a nerd. Some of the richest people in the world were school nerds.
That was Mom's idea of a pep talk whenever I came home sad because some kid at school bullied me. Graduation couldn't have come soon enough. When I got accepted to my college of choice, I was super excited, but my excitement died down when I imagined that it would be like high school all over again.
Celine!
I was startled by my mom. "Oh yeah, the glasses," I said as I walked back to the car. "Thanks, Mom. Have a safe trip back."
Are you sure you don't need me to help you unpack?
"I'll be fine. Go." I wasn't planning to unpack just yet, because I had appointments to get to. First with the optician, to have my glasses replaced with contacts, and then with the hairstylist right after. Then I was going to have my first kiss. Somewhere in there, I plan to study too. Before I wow you with my new look, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, hit that notification bell. My first kiss depends on it.
Hi, is this seat taken?
Charlie, a guy in my class, asked me. Charlie was the male version of me in high school, complete with thick glasses, a heavy backpack, and a sweater vest.
Yeah, it's taken. Celine was reserving it for me.
Scarlett, my new friend, walked past Charlie and sat in the empty seat. Scarlett and I met at the mall when I went shopping for clothes to go with my new look. She was super popular and had a huge following online. Charlie nodded, then went to look for another seat.
You're welcome. Girl, please. You don't work so hard to look like that just so you could date the class nerd.
He just needed a seat. Nobody said anything about dating.
Please don't tell me you feel sorry for him.
Not really. It's just that he reminds me of someone I used to know. What I meant was, he reminded me of someone I used to be.
Whatever. I need you to come with me to some boring meeting.
The boring meeting turned out to be with Steve, a guy who needed Scarlett to advertise his new dating app on her Instagram page.
The app is called Blind. We named it that because unlike other dating apps, users cannot upload any photos of themselves or use their real names.
What? How are people supposed to find each other?
Through their likes, dislikes, common interests, and stuff like that.
Scarlett looked bored.
Whatever, tell me what you need me to post.
All you have to do is tell your followers about the app and how it works.
Done.
Scarlett replied as she got up to leave.
There's one more thing. Blind will get more downloads if you sign up and announce you're looking for a match.
I don't need an app to find a date.
Of course not, but we're willing to pay double the amount if you keep your profile up and running for a month, then pick one guy to meet for one dinner.
A few hours later, Scarlett posted a video of herself creating a profile on Blind. The video already had more than 500,000 views. Wow! Blind already has over 1 million downloads.
Must be the guys hoping to go on a date with me.
Scarlett was not known for being humble. An incoming notification pinged on her phone. Another match? Scarlett made a face.
Yeah, I don't get it. I made my profile as boring as possible.
What do you mean?
Here, see for yourself.
She tapped the Blind icon on her phone screen. I don't understand. Whose profile is this? Scarlett smiled proudly.
Mine!
Since when do you like going to the library and watching the History Channel?
I don't. I just wrote that to confuse people.
Even I was confused. But don't you have to chat with several guys until you pick your dinner date?
Yeah, so?
So your profile basically says you're a nerd, meaning you'll attract fellow nerds? You don't even speak nerd.
You do.
Huh?
Come on, Celine. I know all about your extreme makeover college edition. You may have changed your look, but you're still the same girl.
I haven't told anybody.
Your secret is safe with me.
I smiled in relief.
So, I was thinking...
Scarlett tapped her long manicured nails on the table.
You could take over my Blind profile.
Take over?
Accept chat requests and reply to chats from my matches.
But how will you pick your date if you don't chat with them yourself?
You'll pick. All I have to do is show up and look hot as always.
What if he wants to keep seeing you?
I'll just let him down easy.
Scarlett was so smart, it was scary.
Something funny?
I looked up to see Charlie standing in front of me. I was sitting on a bench in between classes. Huh?
You were smiling just now.
Oh, it's nothing. Just this guy I've been talking to online. He's really funny.
Lucky guy.
It's nothing serious. We're just getting to know each other.
So, if I asked you out for coffee, there's a chance you'd say yes?
I didn't hate Charlie. In fact, he seemed kind and interesting. It's just that Scarlet would not approve.
I guess I may have my answer.
He said as he started to walk away. Why did I feel like I just kicked a basket full of puppies? Another chat popped on my screen, and I smiled even before I read it. It was from Archie, one of the guys that matched Scarlet's pseudo profile. We had been chatting for 2 weeks now. He was smart and funny. I was starting to get butterflies in my stomach every time my phone pinged.
So, don't you think it's time we met?
Dread filled my stomach when I read his newest chat. I really wished I could say yes, but this was Scarlet's account. In about 1 week, the blind Scarlet dinner date, as Steve called it, would be happening. A few days earlier, Scarlet asked me to pick her date for the dinner, and I picked Archie. She also requested I go with her. Why? People are expecting to see you and Archie. I'll just be in the way.
You won't be. Steve will reserve a table for you to sit alone.
Imagine setting your boyfriend up for a date with another girl. Now imagine sitting a few tables away and watching them the whole evening. Yep, definitely not fun. Not that Archie was my boyfriend or anything, but it was definitely heading in that direction. Too bad it was about to blow up in my face. Wow, you look stunning, Scar. It was the evening of the dinner date, and we were in Scarlet's room getting ready. When Archie was contacted and informed that he'd been chatting with Scarlet the whole month, he immediately said yes to the date.
Thanks. Now tell me again. Archie is in college, loves math, has a pet named Sauce. What else am I forgetting?
That he likes me, not you. I wished I could say that out loud. Steve sent a limousine to pick us up. I felt like a celebrity. The venue for the date was elegantly decorated with flowers and beautiful lighting. There was even a red carpet. A crowd was already gathered.
All right, girls, let me show you to your tables. Once Scarlet is seated, Archie will walk in. Ready?
Steve said as he led us inside. He was wearing a tuxedo. I was excited to see Archie for the first time, but also sad because he wasn't there to meet me. As soon as we walked in, Scarlet smiled and waved. How could this be so easy for her? I was sweating bullets. Steve directed me to the table I'd be watching the date from.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. I know we're dying to see the guy that had Scarlet's attention for a month. Ladies and gentlemen, Archie.
I couldn't look. I shut my eyes tightly and tried to control my breathing.
What the heck? Is this a joke?
Scarlet sounded mad. I immediately opened my eyes and froze. Charlie? You're Archie? I couldn't hide the shock in my voice.
Yeah, hi Celine, surprise!
He tried to smile, but I could tell he was very nervous too. Steve had a camera trained on Scarlet.
Did you know?
Scarlet turned her full wrath on me. Scarlet, I swear I didn't.
No what?
Scarlet completely ignored Charlie.
Why should I believe you? Tell me you didn't set me up so I could be humiliated.
What's humiliating about being on a date with Charlie? He's a really nice guy. He's also really smart.
Unbelievable. Did you develop feelings for him when you guys were chatting on my account?
What?
This dinner was getting more disastrous by the minute.
You know what? I don't care. He's all yours. Steve, I'm sorry. I can't do this.
A few minutes later, she was gone. Steve paced the floor, scratching his head.
We could still save this. How? Scarlet would rather eat glass than be seen with me.
Steve looked at me.
Scarlet said you were the one chatting with Charlie the whole time, right?
Yeah. Where was he going with this?
How do you guys feel about continuing with the dinner?
I was about to say no, but then I realized this was it. This was the day I dreamt about for the past 1 month. Archie was right in front of me, and all I had to do was say yes. I turned and walked towards the exit, just like Scarlet did. When I got to the door, I turned and walked back towards Charlie, smiling and pretending I was seeing him for the first time. Hi, I'm Celine.
So not cool. I thought you were gonna walk out on me too.
Charlie laughed. He looked so relaxed now. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Dinner went great. We ended up talking for hours. To my relief, he wasn't mad or anything. At the end of the evening, the limousine drove us back to my dorm room. This must be what being in a fairy tale feels like, I thought to myself as we said our goodbyes. Over the next few weeks, Charlie and I went out for more dates. We sat together in class and held hands while walking around college. Adorable, right? Now, if only I could gather the courage to kiss him. One evening, I was getting dressed for a date with Charlie when Scarlett knocked on my door. We hadn't seen or spoken to each other since she walked out on Charlie weeks ago. Steve came running behind her.
Did you know?
Was she broken or something? I already answered that question weeks ago. Nice to see you too, Scar. And no, I didn't know that Archie was Charlie. And why are you so mad still? You still got paid. Just then, Charlie walked in, carrying a bouquet of flowers. He immediately tensed when he saw Scarlett and Steve.
Is everything okay?
Charlie, hi. About the other day, I'm so sorry for walking out on you. No hard feelings?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we can go for coffee soon?
I'm sorry, what? Why was she being nice all of a sudden?
I'm so sorry, boss. I thought you already told Celine, so I told Scarlett. I was going to tell Celine the truth tonight.
I was so lost. The truth about what?
The truth about who he really is. Charlie is my boss, and also the brains behind the blind app.
Oh, for God's sake, if Steve won't say it, I will. Celine, your boyfriend is a freaking billionaire. I can't believe I gave him to you.
So many things went through my head at once. I said what came to mind first. Charlie is not my boyfriend. At least not yet, but I was going to ask him to...
I think Celine and I need to have a talk. Alone.
Steve nodded and walked out. Scarlett reluctantly followed him, but not before she asked Charlie to call her about that coffee date. Yeah, that was not going to happen. So, this whole thing was you testing your app?
What? No. Okay, at first, yes. When I created my profile, I didn't expect to meet anyone special. But then we talked for a month and I was dying to meet you. Even though our first meeting wasn't exactly planned, I still had a great time. I'm sorry I didn't tell you right away. I was going to tell you tonight.
I'm a little mad you didn't tell me right away, but I'm sure you had your reasons, especially after that whole thing with Scarlett. If I was being honest, I'd also hidden a few things from him, though nothing as big as him being a billionaire. That was going to take a while to get used to.
Are we still on for dinner?
Yes, we have so much to talk about. On our way out, we bumped into my mom. Mom, what are you doing here?
Celine? Is that really you? You look so different.
Mom, is everything all right at home?
Everyone's fine. I'm here because your new glasses got delivered. Dr. Sloan said your old ones were due for a replacement. But I see you don't need them anymore.
Actually, I do, I said as I took the small package from her hands. Charlie, meet my mom. Mom, meet Charlie, my...
Boyfriend, it's nice to meet you.
While Charlie and Mom got acquainted, I rushed back into my dorm room to remove my contacts. A few minutes later, I walked out, wearing the glasses Mom brought. So, what do you think?
Wow.
Charlie adjusted his glasses as he walked towards me. Why are you so nervous?
What makes you think I'm nervous?
You just adjusted your glasses. I used to do that all the time when I was nervous. Charlie was standing really close to me now.
I'm nervous because I'm about to kiss you.
I adjusted my glasses too, and we both smiled. And that, my dear viewers, is how I got my first kiss. Thanks for hitting that notification bell.
So, what are you doing after work?
Jasper smiled at me from the video call. The same thing I've done for the past 3 months. Come home and chat with you. Jasper laughed.
I'm off to work. I'll see you later.
I blew him a kiss and he caught it playfully before I hung up. I couldn't believe that I was able to find a decent guy, especially on a dating app. Even though we lived in 2 different states, we found the time to spend with each other through video calls or text messaging to spend time together. Do you think Jasper and I will last? Watch my crazy story till the end to find out. After 3 months of video chatting, we finally decided to meet halfway and go on a real date. Actually, we made it a weekend of dates. On the first night, I saw a movie, went to dinner, and walked around the city enjoying the crisp evening breeze. On Saturday night, we went to an art gallery, and Sunday he ate a romantic picnic where Jasper asked me to be his girlfriend. After I came home from our amazing weekend, I expected Jasper's and my relationship to flourish. However, that didn't happen. For the next 2 weeks, I called, I texted, and left voice messages to Jasper, but nothing. Did he change his mind about me? Did he ask me to be his girlfriend just to spend the weekend with me? Did he just ghost me? I could feel the smoke coming out of my ears, and I was determined not to let anyone toy with my emotions. I couldn't believe that I fell for his lies. He was a loser, just like the other guys I dated previously. I never wanted to hear from him again. I blocked him from social media, and I also blocked him on my phone. Since Jasper was a bust, I think I'm done with dating. I opened my phone and went into my tagged account to delete it. But a message caught my eye. I opened it and the person addressed me by my real name. "Who is this?" I typed. Immediately, the person responded.
Sabrina, it's me, Jasper. I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't mean to hurt you. Please unblock me so I can explain what happened.
Being the soft-hearted person that I am, I unblocked Jasper from my phone and gave him a call.
Sabrina, thank you so much. The past 2 weeks, I've been feeling under the weather. I thought I caught a bug, but I went to Dr. Martin, and it's more than a bug.
Jasper went on to tell me that he struggled with cancer for years, but it went into remission, but now it's back. Dr. Martin found a growth on his lungs, and he needed to start treatment immediately. Jasper, why didn't you tell me that you had cancer before? We chatted for 3 months before we even met. How could you not mention to me that, especially since we were hoping to get into something more serious than casual dating?
I'm sorry, but every girl that I mentioned my cancer to bailed on me, and I didn't want you to leave as well.
I deserved to know if I wanted us to date seriously. This way, I can decide whether or not I want to stay with you or not, instead of being swindled into a commitment like this. Jasper agreed and he apologized for not telling me. I told him that I wasn't going anywhere, which he seemed very happy about. Over the next few weeks, Jasper went to the doctor often, and when we did video calls, he always looked sick. He showed me pictures of him hooked up to machines, and I felt my heart break. One morning at around 5 a.m., I got a call from Jasper. He was crying and freaking out, and I could hardly understand what he was saying. After a few tries, I was able to blurt it out. Dr. Martin wanted him to have a surgery to remove the growth since other treatments were not working. This meant that he'd be out of commission for a few weeks.
I know that we just started dating, but will you be able to stay with me after the surgery until I'm able to hire someone for the rest of my recovery? Also, can I borrow $10,000 just until I get back to work? You don't have to feel obliged to say yes.
Of course, I'm here to help you. After Jasper gave me all the information I needed, I told my boss that I had a family emergency and I needed to use 2 weeks of my vacation immediately. I booked my flight and a rental car for when I got to the city. Jasper offered to reimburse me for the cost of everything, but I told him it was okay. On the day of Jasper's surgery, I landed and got the rental car. I had about 2 hours before I'd pick Jasper up after his surgery, so I decided to pick him up a get-well-soon card and some flowers. As I drove into the parking lot of the hospital, I received a call from Jasper. He told me the surgery was scheduled for an earlier time and he asked a friend of his to drop him home. He fell asleep and apologized for contacting me so late. Jasper gave me his home address and I was there within 20 minutes.
Hey, babe.
Jasper opened the door and smiled at me as he leaned against his walking stick for support. I hugged him gently and kissed him on the lips. I felt the soft padding under his shirt, which I assumed was his bandage.
Thank you for coming.
Jasper closed the door behind me. How are you feeling?
A bit sore and tired, but I'm happy now you're here.
Jasper showed me where to place my luggage, and for the rest of the day, we watched movies, ate food, and had snacks. Jasper didn't eat much because he said he didn't have much of an appetite. The first week passed without any hiccups, and I was surprised at how great Jasper and I got along. He spent most of his day in bed sleeping off painkillers, but once he was up, we'd talk for hours or just watch movies. During the second week of my stay, I woke up one morning and realized that Jasper was gone. I checked everywhere in his apartment, but he was nowhere to be found. My heart raced, and I had to do my breathing exercises to calm down. Just relax, Sabrina. He has a walking stick. How far could he possibly go? About 15 minutes later, I heard the front door open and Jasper walked in with 2 coffees and a bag of bagels. I noticed that there was blood at the front of his shirt on his abdomen where his bandage was. Wasn't he in any pain? I thought to myself. Jasper looked at me curiously and it occurred to me that he had asked me a question. Sorry, babe, what did you ask me?
Do you want a cinnamon bagel or a sesame bagel?
Cinnamon, please. Jasper nodded and handed me my coffee and bagel. My thoughts continued. If Jasper's bandage is seeping blood, then he must be feeling some sort of discomfort. Then why is he laughing and chatting as though nothing has happened? Alarm bells sounded in my mind. Something wasn't right. It dawned on me that Jasper probably never did surgery in the first place, and this entire thing was a sham. Was I in any immediate danger?
I'm running to the bedroom real quick, and I'll join you in a moment, okay?
I nodded. As soon as Jasper disappeared into the bedroom, I got up quickly and searched through his mail to ensure he had given me his real name. Things aren't adding up, and I need to get more information on who Jasper really was. Jasper Ibis really was his real name. I rushed back to my seat because I didn't want Jasper to catch me.
Sabrina, I have some bad news.
Jasper said solemnly when he exited the bedroom.
My parents are on their way to see me. Don't worry about your bags, I already packed them for you. I made a reservation that's close to the airport, and I'll pay your hotel fee.
So, why not introduce me to your family? Instead, you thought it was best to put me out. I took a plane to come and stay with you, and this is how you treat me?
I'm sorry, but you don't know my family. Mom never liked any of my girlfriends, and if she found out you were taking care of me first and she wasn't, I'd never hear the end of it. The pain of that and my surgery, well, I'd prefer not to deal with all that drama at this time. Listen, I'll visit you at the hotel. Just let me know your room number when you arrive.
Immediately, I grabbed my luggage and left. I didn't go to the hotel Jasper made the reservations at because something told me that Jasper wasn't telling me the truth. When I checked in at the hotel, I informed the desk that if anyone called and asked for me, they shouldn't put me through to my room phone. I knew I needed to get to the bottom of this. I opened my laptop and did a quick social media sweep looking for anything on Jasper to pop up. Damn it, nothing. Unless I quickly created a new social media alias, and suddenly everything on Jasper Ibis popped up. None of his family lived close by. He doesn't work for Glass Limited like he told me. When I read what he did for a living, I shuddered. Jasper was employed by hospitals to be a guinea pig. Yeah, you heard right. A human guinea pig. He was used by new doctors to gain experience in their field. I looked through his picture and noticed the picture he showed me of him in hospital gowns and hooked up to tubes from a simulation he did a few years ago. But there's more. He also had 4 children, all with different women, and he was now living with his pregnant girlfriend. His last post was an hour ago.
Lucky my baby is out of hospital, 35 weeks and still beautiful.
I may be a soft-hearted person, but I wasn't a very patient one. I scrolled through his list of family members that he posted, and I came across a Rob Ibis, his brother. Luckily for me, when I clicked Rob's name, he was online. I quickly messaged him and told him I was a friend of Jasper's and wanted to send him some flowers since I heard that he had cancer and just had surgery. Rob politely told me that his brother didn't have cancer, nor did he do any surgery recently that he knew of. I thanked Rob and closed my laptop. Are you freaking kidding me? I unblocked Jasper for this? My nostrils flared and my blood ran hot as I grabbed my car keys and hopped into the car. I sped down the road and my tires screeched as I pulled in front of Jasper's house. In the drive was a blue minivan. I rang the doorbell and the woman I saw on Jasper's social media page answered the door. I cleared my throat. Hi, is Jasper home? I'm a co-worker of his. I heard he had a surgical procedure done and I wanted to check in. I faked a smile.
I think you have the wrong house.
His girlfriend looked genuinely confused. I couldn't believe it. Jasper was scamming her as well. I have the right house, if I can just speak with you outside for a few minutes. His girlfriend stepped out of the apartment and I quickly told her what happened over the past few months. His girlfriend thanked me and I left. I thought I'd go back to my pitiful life and grow into an old cat lady. However, life had a few detours for me first. About 20 minutes after I arrived at the hotel, I heard a knock on my room door. I opened it, and there stood the manager and 2 police officers.
Sorry to disturb you, ma'am, but there are police officers here to question you.
I raised an eyebrow. Question me about what?
Were you at Jasper Ibis's house this afternoon?
Yes, I said hesitantly. The officer pulled out his handcuffs, pinned me to the wall, and handcuffed me.
You're coming to the station with us since you can't seem to keep your hands to yourself.
What are you talking about? I asked as they pushed me out of the hotel.
Mr. Ibis's girlfriend is in the hospital because of you. If her baby dies, you will be arrested for manslaughter.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just another jealous ex.
The police officer shook his head. At the police station, I called my lawyer, Mr. Falcon, and I was granted bail. I was ordered to stay in the hotel until my case was called. After a few days, Mr. Falcon called and said Jasper was willing to agree to a settlement of $20,000 and he'd drop all charges. I agreed to the settlement since it was my word against theirs and there was footage of me speaking with Jasper's girlfriend. I took a loan from the bank and through my lawyer paid Jasper since I never wanted to see his two-timing face ever again. After my ordeal with Jasper, I did a full makeover, including cutting and dyeing my hair. A few days later, my friends decided to take me on a trip out of town. While I sat at the bar with some of my friends, Jasper and his girlfriend walked in. And did you know? His girlfriend was no longer pregnant. Did she lose the baby? I snapped a few pictures of them without noticing and sent them to my lawyer and asked if he heard anything about Jasper's girlfriend losing the baby. A few days later, Mr. Falcon called me.
Sabrina, hi, I've got some great news. I hired a private investigator to dig up everything on Jasper and his girlfriend, and you weren't the first person those two have conned. But what I can guarantee, they'll think twice before doing it to someone else.
We took them to court and dragged them through the mud. By the time Mr. Falcon tore them apart, Jasper and his girlfriend snitched on each other. They each got 2 years imprisonment and I sued them for $100,000 for trauma and grief. As for social media, I'll stick to finding out what kind of pizza I am by doing quizzes. Social media and dating is not something I'll ever do again. Or at least not until I paid a private investigator to make sure his story checks out first.
Honey, I can't find my gold necklace.
Which one?
The one we just got yesterday.
My dad took a deep and long sigh.
Toby,
Yes, Dad?
can you please give your mom back her necklace? I just got it yesterday to celebrate our anniversary.
Dad, what makes you think I took it? Everyone stared at me without uttering a word. It made me feel very uncomfortable, so I brought the necklace out of my pocket. Fine, here it is. I was just playing a prank on you guys. Stop taking it so seriously. But they knew I was lying. I wasn't playing any prank. My mom looked sad as she took the necklace from my hand. My dad shook his head in disappointment, and my siblings simply looked away, not wanting to be a part of the drama. Whatever. Stealing from my family was getting too old anyway. It was just too easy since I had secretly made copies of the keys to all their rooms, making me have easy access in and out of their rooms. My siblings were also scared of me and my bad behavior, so we didn't get along. I know you must be wondering why I enjoy stealing. Are my parents poor? Do they starve me? Am I unhappy? These are questions that may be running through your mind at the moment, and I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but none of that is the case in my situation. My parents were well off. I always had an ungodly amount of food available for consumption, and I was very happy. So why do I steal? Well, I just enjoy the thrill. Like and subscribe if you want to find out the terrible way in which I learned my lesson. I extended my stealing talent to school and every other place I went. At first, nobody knew or believed that I was the one responsible for the heinous acts. But once you're caught the first time, people never trust you again. And I was caught so many times. My parents were rich and well known in society. As a result of their high societal position, they were able to pay off any debt I incurred and cover up all of my escapades without any repercussion. I was literally an untouchable rich thief. My parents had done everything they could to help me get better, but it never worked. They even sent me to therapy, but I ended up stealing the therapist's diamond wedding ring and getting banned from the building. I continued with my bad behavior throughout my teenage years until I was finally 20. A new friend of mine was having a really important interview and told me to run to his house, get the documents he forgot, and come back quickly. When I stepped into his apartment, I couldn't help but notice all the shiny, expensive objects used to design his home. I obviously picked up a few of them. I couldn't control myself. The interview went great and my friend hugged me tight. I went to bed that night and woke up to breaking news on TV.
Toby Pio, son of the president of the Pio Group, one of the largest business companies in the country, has been caught stealing on live TV.
Playing on every local TV channel and across social media was CCTV footage of me picking up expensive items in my friend's house and hiding them in my bag.
Toby is an unrepentant thief that has been caught stealing multiple times, but his parents always cover it up and nothing ever happens. It's time to end this injustice. The rich must also pay for their crimes.
Random people started recounting their first-hand experiences with me on TV and across social media. Things were going crazy. I heard a knock on the door and went to open it, only to come face-to-face with some cops.
You are under arrest, Mr. Toby Pio. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say may be used in a...
I couldn't believe what was happening. My parents and siblings just stared at me getting arrested, sad, ashamed, and unable to do anything at this particular moment. No one came to bail me for a week. I guess they wanted to punish me. My dad finally came and led me home.
All the charges have been dropped and you're a free man. I've given you a fresh start, but you won't do it here. From this very moment, you're no longer a Pio, son. I'm not your father, and you're not my son. Go to your room, pack your things, and never return.
I left without a word. For some reason, my dad thought that I needed him to survive. He was so wrong. I mean, take a good look at me. A grand thief. I could survive anywhere. I took to the streets and moved in with some random people who lived there. I told them I had crazy skills and could help them earn more money. They accepted me when I showed how crafty, strong, and fast my hands were.
Did you just lift up a huge refrigerator all by yourself? Oh my God, you're so strong. How are you so strong?
I didn't just lift up the fridge. I also took your wallet while doing that.
What? That's crazy. We need a lot of strong and skilled men like you here. Welcome home.
In less than a year, I became the talk of the streets. A thieving outcast son of a rich family, ruling the streets like he owned it. This drew the attention of some silent street patrons, and they started sending me on difficult jobs. I aced them all. In a very short time frame, I was drowning in wealth once again. Everyone knew that I had money, but they could never trace it. No one ever knew where I hid them. I was still living like a poor broke guy with other poor broke people. One day, the police attacked our shelter for no good reason. They said they were looking for a thief, and we didn't know what they were talking about. A police officer suddenly approached me, and I tried to defend myself, but I realized that the police officer was actually my older brother. As a result of this, I hesitated and paused for a split second. Immediately, my brother saw me. He assumed that I must have been the thief that they were sent to search for, so he quickly struck me hard and knocked me out. I was half conscious when I noticed that I was inside a police car, cuffed and gagged. While trying to regain full consciousness, a heavy wind started to blow, and the trees on each side of the road closed in on us. These funny-acting trees actually picked up the vehicles and shook them violently, knocking everyone, including me, out once again. When I woke up, I was in a very strange house with an even stranger old woman staring down at me. It looked like a scene straight out of Hansel and Gretel. Where am I? Who are you? What am I doing here? What do you want from me?
Shh, shh, shh. Silence, young thief, or you might wake my sleeping dragons.
I turned round to see where she was pointing, and lo and behold, two massive dog-like beings lay there sleeping, with hot smoke coming out of their mouth and nostrils as they snored. I became as quiet as a statue.
Who knew a renowned thief could get scared so easily? Let me cut to the chase. I need you to steal something for me. If you are successful on this quest, I will give you a reward so great, mortals can't even imagine it.
The witch wanted me to steal a magical gold bracelet from another witch who also lived in the same forest, but farther down. She couldn't go herself because the witch would smell her miles away, even if she was invisible. Wait a minute, we're in a forest?
Deep, deep inside. No human can ever find us unless we bring them in.
Wonderful, continue.
To help you with this difficult quest, I am giving you a magic perfume. Once sprayed, this perfume makes you invisible, making it possible for you to slip in and out of anywhere without getting noticed. It also makes it possible for you to walk right through walls and enter wherever without needing a door.
Why do I need to take so much precaution if I'm just going to steal a bracelet?
Because if that witch catches you, she's gonna cut you into tiny bits, cook you and eat you.
Christ.
So be careful. Be gone now, thief.
With a wave of her hand, I found myself in front of the other witch's house. As I stood there thinking, I wondered what reward that witch could possibly give me that would be greater than the perfume I was already holding in my hand. I decided that it wasn't worth the risk of getting eaten, so I took the perfume and found my way out of the forest without stealing the bracelet. My street brothers were so happy to see me. They thought I was done for. I laughed and told them that I was fine. This perfume made me grow from a great thief to an unstoppable one. The best part was that no one could trace these robberies back to me because I was never really there. My guys and I continued stealing and stacking up wealth, but unfortunately our good luck didn't last for too long. 1 month later, I was sleeping and dreaming of my next successful job when the witch appeared in my room. She jumped on my bed and grabbed me, trying to disappear with me, but I quickly slipped out of her grasp and escaped. I picked up the perfume and sprayed it on myself, disappearing right in front of her eyes. She immediately blocked the door. "Why are you blocking the door, witch? It seems you've forgotten that I don't need doors to move." Realizing this, she left the door, but by speaking, I had unintentionally revealed my location to her. She immediately pointed her stick towards the direction of my voice. Green lightning came out of the stick, hitting me hard and making it impossible for me to become invisible again. As I lay on the floor, frantically spraying the perfume all over my body and freaking out because nothing was happening, the witch approached me.
How dare you steal from me? You will regret the second you made that decision.
She grabbed me by my collar and disappeared with me. I woke up in her tiny cottage once again, but this time I was lying on the floor of a cage. Her two scary pets were circling me, almost like they were getting ready to eat me.
Oh, will you look at that? He finally came too.
I was too scared to speak, so I just stayed still. The witch snapped her fingers, and I was out of the cage, a safe distance away from those beasts. She pointed to my stomach, and a tiny swirl appeared on it, almost like a tornado.
With every second that passes by, that hole in your stomach will get bigger. I am sending you back on your original mission. If you don't return in time, the hole in your stomach will keep getting bigger and bigger until you disappear from the world forever. It'll be like you never existed.
Why do you need this bracelet so much?
None of a human's business.
With a wave of her hands once again, I found myself in front of the second witch's house. I brought out the perfume, sprayed it on myself, and then walked right in through the wall of the house. The witch didn't notice me thanks to the power of the magic perfume, so I slipped right in and easily stole the bracelet. By the time I found my way back to the first witch's house using the magical compass she gave me, the hole in my stomach had already eaten up half of my body, and I was freaking out. I gave the woman the bracelet. "Here, I've done your dirty work. The bracelet is yours. Now please, release me from this scary and painful hole forming in the middle of my body."
Easy, son. I will fulfill my promise, but you must also get punished for stealing from me. A frail old witch who wanted to turn your life around. I will also still reward you for your hard work and for not getting killed by the second witch. Everyone I've previously sent never made it back.
What?
I am taking away your greatest gift and greatest curse, punishing and rewarding you at the same time.
She said while touching my forehead. She took back her perfume and told me that I was free to go. When I got home, I was in a jolly good mood because the witch hadn't killed me and I was happy to be alive. I went right back to stealing, but things weren't the same anymore. After 3 unsuccessful jobs, I realized that I lost my ability to steal. The witch had really taken away my greatest gift and curse. I was confused and didn't know who I was anymore, so I moved out of the country and started a new life with the money I'd been saving all this time. I was still very skilled with my brain and hands. I just couldn't use them to steal anymore. I chose to attend a physical 3-month boot camp to learn software engineering. I excelled in all my courses and got 3 job offers before even graduating. I chose the most fulfilling job offer and started working as a software engineer. While working, I fell in love with a beautiful coworker who worked in the same building as me. We started dating and ended up getting married and starting a family. After my wife heard my life story, she convinced me to apologize to my parents and ask for forgiveness. I refused at first, but she kept insisting. It took me 2 years to finally set my pride aside and visit my family with my 2 tiny kids. They were happy to see me and embraced me with open arms before I even asked for forgiveness. When I apologized, my dad said he was the one who should have been apologizing because he was too harsh on me. Thanks to my wife, I was able to mend my relationship with my family. Looking back at my life now, I've realized that what the witch did to me, taking away my greatest gift and curse, was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed my story. Yeah, one more thing. Don't steal.